Do you spend more time choosing what to watch than actually watching it? Or maybe you felt the dread of an empty shopping cart because every option felt wrong. You're not alone. We're living in an era where unprecedented choice is paradoxically making us less decisive and more dissatisfied. Today, we're breaking down why this is happening and what it means for your daily life. Isn't more choice supposed to make us happier? More freedom, more autonomy, more opportunities? That's what modern life promised. But what if the opposite is happening? What if every new choice is actually stealing your happiness, making decisions harder, and leaving you less satisfied with whatever you pick? That's the paradox of choice. In 2004, psychologist Barry Schwartz introduced this idea to the world. He said that when people are faced with too many options, instead of feeling free, they feel overwhelmed and even paralyzed. He described two types of decision makers. First, satisficers, people who look for something that's good enough. And second, maximizers, people who try to find the absolute best. Modern society trains us to be maximizers. Don't settle. Find the best deal. Optimize everything. But maximizing in a world of infinite options is like trying to find the perfect grain of sand on a beach. One of the best examples of this came from a famous experiment involving jam. Researchers set up a table with 24 types of jam. People loved the display, lots of choices. Then they set up another table, but with only 6 types. Here's the twist. More people stopped at the table with 24 jams, but they were 10 times more likely to actually buy from the table with 6. Too many choices create decision paralysis, regret, and dissatisfaction. And this shows up in your life more than you think. Take streaming services. You sit down after a long day, open Netflix, and start scrolling. 5 minutes turn into 20. You want to watch something, but nothing feels right. Eventually, you give up or rewatch the same show. That's analysis paralysis. Or online shopping. You want a simple pair of running shoes, but suddenly you're comparing foam density, heel-to-toe drop, midsole structure, and 47 different colors. A simple purchase becomes a multi-day research project, and if the shoes disappoint, you blame yourself, because you could have chosen differently. And then there's modern dating. Dating apps give you what feels like infinite options. Swipe left, swipe right, swipe left again. Humans used to date people who lived near them. Now you have access to thousands of profiles. And when choices increase, psychology shows that commitment drops, expectations skyrocket, and satisfaction goes down. Even when you meet someone great, you might feel haunted by the idea that someone better is still one swipe away. Even careers have fallen into this paradox. 50 years ago, you picked a career and stuck with it. Today you're told you can be anything, go anywhere, reinvent yourself endlessly. Freelancer, content creator, programmer, traveler, entrepreneur, you name it. But with limitless paths, people don't feel free. They feel lost. When everything is possible, nothing feels right. Let's look at the science behind this. First, decision fatigue. Your brain has a limited decision budget each day. Every choice, big or small, uses up energy. This is why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Not because he lacked style, but because he didn't want to waste brain power choosing a shirt. Second, dopamine and the illusion of the perfect choice. More options create more imagined rewards. Your brain gets excited by the possibilities, but once you choose, you kill all the other paths you didn't take. And your brain treats that loss as real loss. Third, the expectation problem. When you have 50 choices, your expectations rise. You expect perfection, and reality rarely matches the idealized version in your head, you're disappointed, not because your choice was bad, but because your expectations were too high. To understand how deep this goes, let's zoom out and look at philosophy. Jean-Paul Sartre said that humans are condemned to be free. Having choices forces us to confront responsibility. No excuses. It's all on you. And modern life multiplies these tiny moments of responsibility. What career you choose, what person you date, what identity you adopt, what future you build. Freedom sounds great until you realize it can be terrifying. Psychologist Erich Fromm argued that too much freedom makes people anxious, because when everything is possible, nothing feels stable. This is why people often gravitate toward routines, rules, or structure. It's not because they're boring. It's because structure brings peace. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that the key to happiness isn't having more choices. It's focusing on what matters, fewer choices, more meaning. So why do companies keep overwhelming us with choices if too many options are bad for us? 3 reasons. First, the illusion of customization. More choices make you feel like the company cares about you. Second, the illusion of control. You feel empowered, even if you're overwhelmed. And third, the upsell trap. When you compare too many options, you usually end up picking a slightly more expensive one because your brain tries to compromise. So how do you know if you're suffering from choice overload? You overthink small decisions. You second-guess your purchases. You default to the same shows or meals to avoid deciding. You feel FOMO no matter what you pick. You procrastinate decisions until the last moment. You feel drained after shopping or browsing. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But there's good news. Freedom doesn't require infinite choice. It requires the right amount of choice. Here are some practical ways to escape the paradox. First, embrace satisficing. Stop aiming for the best. Aim for good enough. This alone can increase happiness. Second, limit your options. Give yourself constraints. Pick from the first 10 results. Choose between 2 outfits. Set a 2-minute decision timer. Constraints create clarity. Third, automate small decisions. Choose a default breakfast, a default morning routine, a default outfit style. Save your brain power for the choices that matter. Fourth, create decision filters. For example, only buy clothes that match your wardrobe. Only watch shows under 40 minutes. Pick the cheapest option unless there's a clear reason not to. These filters remove most choices instantly. Fifth, celebrate your decisions. After choosing, don't look back. Train your brain to feel satisfied instead of doubtful. Sixth, decide what's worth deciding. Not all choices deserve equal attention. Save your energy for relationships, goals, personal growth, not cereal brands. Here's the real truth behind the paradox of choice. The problem isn't freedom. It's that we confuse choice with meaning. Choosing between 100 headphones doesn't make your life richer. Having 40 streaming services doesn't make you happier. Swiping through endless dating profiles doesn't create deeper love. Meaning comes from commitment, from presence, from appreciating what you have, not what you could have chosen. So next time you're staring at your screen, paralyzed by options, remember this. More isn't always better. Sometimes fewer choices bring more peace, more clarity, and more joy. Maybe the freedom we need is freedom from endless choices. If this opened your eyes, stick around for more videos like this, and tell me in the comments, what decision have you been overthinking lately?